If you meet me at the corner of Russell and Albina, just about a block from Mississippi Avenue, I'll take you to a house where they hang carpets on the wall. And if we go there on a Sunday, there's a song I'll take you through.
Welcome to Open Mic America. I'm Evan Acey. I'm your MC this afternoon. Robert Edgar is our interviewer, and Laura Bordowitz is our show engineer. And as always, Capo Dave Williams, OMA founder, is hard at work behind the scenes. Our mission is to support your local open mics. Without gimmicks and frills, this is the beating heart of American music, the tapestry of song and story that has been weaving us together for generations. And now, let's introduce all of our performers. This evening or afternoon, daytime, whenever you're watching this on the internet, we're going to have Stuart Campbell from Vancouver, Washington. We're hoping to have Henry Kaiser from Portland, Oregon, if he works out some technical issues. Steve Andersen is in Alameda, California. Tom Maynard is in Thompson, Connecticut. Hank Stone, East Patchogue, New York. And he may have to correct me on that, Patchogue. And Mike Simpson in Saratoga, California. Bet Paget is in Raleigh, North Carolina. Charles Absher is going to join us today from Avondale Estates, Georgia. And so getting right into the live music, our first guest today is going to be Stuart Campbell, Vancouver, Washington. Stuart's favorite local open mic is located in the Songwriter Soiree here in Portland, Oregon. And there's a great retreat coming up in January on the Oregon coast. Stuart, what do you have in your heart to share through music tonight?
I have a couple love songs. Stones are getting weathered by the acid in the rain. Candles burning down till they can't support a flame. Castles crumbling to the earth, history undone. Shiny coats of bright red paint getting faded by the sun. Sequoias touch the highest clouds, eventually fall down. Mountains of 10,000 years are washed out to the sound. Sometimes we take it all for granted, blind to the change. But I will never give up on us. I won't let it slip away. 'Cause love is not a mountain. Love is not a tree. Love is not a coat of paint that you can put on easily. Love is not affected by the ravages of age. It's in our hearts forgiving. Now it's time to re-engage. Because I love you way too much to let it slip away. Oh, 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 oh. Stalactites holding on for life in dark and empty caves. Shells of oysters washed to shore, turned to sand by waves. Let it all fall down around us. Together we will stay. We will love each other just enough to start again today. Love is not a mountain. Love is not a tree. Love is not a coat of paint that you can put on easily. Love is just a summer breeze blowing in the dark. know that we can make this work, rekindling our spark, because we're way too much in love. Yeah, we're way too much in love, way too much in love to let it slip away. I won't let it fade away. I won't let it turn to dust and blow away. Leaves change colors, turn and fade. Yellows go to brown. Buds then burst out in the spring to start another round. You and me together found each other one day, and we're way too much in love. Yes, we are way too much in love. We are way too much in love to let it slip away.
Oh,
Very nice.
Quite lovely.
Thank you. You might have guessed that's called Way Too Much. It's a love song. Here's a love song too. I've been going through, let me take off that cape. I've been going through pictures, scanning them to the web, so they're there forever. And the tiniest little pictures sometimes have the biggest memories. So I encourage you, go look at all your pictures hanging in the hall. Put yourself in the position of being there like you were. It's just a little photo hanging in the hall. Nothing very special, no, nothing at all. Sorry, just a little photo hanging in the hall. Nothing very special, no, nothing at all. I walked right by it about 1,000,000 times. 4x4 Polaroid in glossy black and white. Nothing special at all. Don't remember who took it. Doesn't matter anyway. Just you and me together in a lover's embrace. Warm night in August, wind in your hair, moon glowing like sparkle dust on you and me there. Nothing special at all. Oh, nothing special at all. That night in your driveway, with the touch of a kiss. In a lifetime of living, it rarely happens like this. Young lovers entwined like unruly vines, entering another world in each other's eyes. Nothing special at all. Like Bogart and Bergman on the silver screen, we hoped this night would never end, clutching to a dream. Now frozen in this little frame where no one ever goes. A memory, a moment that no one else would know. Nothing special at all. Oh. Nothing special at all. Taken in an instant, a moment intact, melting into each other when the photo was snapped. Just a little photo hanging in the hall. Nothing very very special, no, nothing at all. Nothing special 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 at all.
Yeah. Nice. The fade was really groovy too. Analog fade.
Hi, Stuart.
Hey, how you doing,
Hey,
Robert?
I'm fine.
Good
I'm
to see
fine. Let's see, we're getting started. So is my brain tonight. One of the
That's okay.
I promise you we'll get started. The one of the things that your songs, your lyrics reminded me of was back in the 60s and 70s when anthropologists would first take pictures of people in societies that hadn't seen cameras and hadn't seen new technologies. One of the statements that they would make, one of the feelings was that the pictures would be stealing their souls. Sometimes they would cover their mouths so their soul wouldn't jump out into the picture. Since both of your songs had to deal with images and pictures and the difference between them and the reality of love, it seemed to me that that was an interesting
Yeah, I'm kind
thing.
of
I thought I'd
captivated.
ask you about it.
I'm captivated by the passage of time and every moment. And a lot of my songs have to do with that, you know. One of them is she stands by the window clutching a canister of the one she loved. And it's just a picture, you know, of a woman holding a canister. And like this song, it's just a little picture. There's nothing special at all. But if we take the time to remember and think, and especially at my age, I'm approaching 70, you know, it's like those moments make life what it is. So that's what I try and do in my songs. It's really important to me to capture those moments.
So, in some ways, do you think a song that you write could be similar to a photo that you've taken, or a photo of you that you look at?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never gone the reverse, tried it the other way around, but that's pretty cool. That's a good idea.
So, how long have you been writing songs?
I wrote my first song, Sweets, for my sweetie back when we were married right before. That was 31 years ago.
Yeah.
But I picked up the guitar in 1974 and just played, you know, what do you play back in 74? Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, you know, all that stuff. It was fun.
Right.
It was fun. And I played on a guitar that had a broken tuner and 4 strings, but it didn't matter. You know, I could still hear the music. You can play on
Right.
one string and hear the music. You can make a song out of one string.
That's right. You know, a one-string dulcimer, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
How long have you been? You're in Washington now, in Vancouver. How
Vancouver.
long have you been there?
We're out here now 6 years. I was in Michigan for 15 years where I attended open mics and played at Eagle Monk Pub and Brewery, and I played at Lamb's Retreat for Songwriters up in Harbor Springs. They've moved to a new location now. And out here, this is probably the first year where I really feel connected, and it's been really good. The songwriter soiree has been great. Songwriter classes with Matt, who's on this show, Matt Meehan, and others, and just feeling connected, playing out a bit. And it's perfect for where I am in my career, my songwriting career. I'm not into making a lot of money at it. I'm into, like I said, capturing those moments and sharing them back so that people can see them in their own minds, you know, and just kind of painting a picture for them. So you mentioned art. It is kind of like art and songwriting, because when you're singing a lyric and it's a good lyric, people have an image in their mind. They're there. They're in that room. They smell the flowers, you know. And I think that's what I like to do. Have somebody come up and say, "Wow, I really felt that."
Sometimes if I've written a song about a certain time and place, a certain event, I can live through that event as I play the piece.
Yeah.
I'll bring images back or elements of the event and feel them again as I go through.
I like that. That feels good to me. I like doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Great. Nice to meet you. Like
Yeah.
your songs, and I'm sure I'll hear you again in the future here.
Yeah,
Thanks.
if
Thanks for sharing, Stuart.
you're in the Portland area, I'll be playing at Kelly's Olympian tomorrow night, starting at 7, with a host of other people. So come on out.
Excellent.
Fly on in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, everybody, that was Stuart Campbell. And now for our next performer. And before I introduce our next performer, I want everybody to know all of the performers that are here tonight, you can find their music out on their websites and other places. Just look them up. You can also find links to those resources on the Open Mic America website. You'll be able to find where they perform locally, all the information you'd like to know about them, and so much more. The history of Open Mic America, everything. So be sure and visit that webpage. So now let's turn the stage over to Steve Andersen. Steve is in Alameda, California. And Steve his favorite local open mics are two of them, Gilman Brewing Company in Berkeley and Yetwa Restaurant in San Rafael, Cinema Grill in Alameda. So, wow, you are just a music playing guy. What do you got that you want to put on the Open Mic America stage tonight, Steve?
First, I have to get the message to unmute myself off the screen. What I'm doing tonight is a couple of tunes that I honestly thought I had done here before, but I checked over my records, and I couldn't find any indication that I've done them here before. They're not brand new. They're a couple of favorites that I thought certainly I would have performed prior to this, but I haven't, and so I'm going to do them now, beginning with a song about wandering. My wife she likes to travel, and travelers, they pick out a place to go and they make reservations and plans and, pay all sorts of fees, and that's the traveler thing. And I'm a wanderer, I like to just hit the road and see where it takes me. And I frankly find that more interesting. So anyway, I wrote this about that. And if I can get the finger picks to work, I'll play it for you. I'm a wandering guy, I got a wandering mind, I got them wandering ways, 'cause I'm the wandering kind. I just love to wander, never know what I'll find. There's a world of things to see, waiting there for me. I got a hankering to see what's there. Ain't no better education than to tool around the nation, see what people have to share. I'm gonna hit the road with my outstretched thumb. I need a friendly driver, one will always come. Just looking for adventure, gotta get me some. Every corner that I turn, give me something new to learn. Soon my mind will overflow with thought. When I'm old and when I'm gray, I'll have a lot of things to say about the wondrous things I saw. I go from town to town, just a hanging around. It's all I ever want to do, no way to hold me down. Unknown destinations, that's where I'm bound. People who will never understand my endeavor, they complain and want to put me down. They got no appreciation for a wandering vacation. They want me to leave their town. So I'll be on my way. I didn't plan to stay, but just to keep on moving, be on my wandering way. I don't know where I'm going. It's a brand new day. The next item on the agenda is a song for children, or perhaps your inner child, depending on how you want to interpret it. And it's a different rhythmic structure, and I always get confused as to how to get it started. I think this is it. It's called the Unicorn Express. The most fantastic train of thought is called the Unicorn Express. It's a path to more adventure than you could ever guess. The passengers are all your friends and creatures you admire, and it only stops in places that'll match your heart's desire. Well, there's mermaids, elves, and fairies, and horses that can fly. There's puppies, and there's kittens, and there's bluebirds in the sky. There's bunnies in the meadow, squirrels up in the trees, and they'll all be glad to see you. They only aim to please. It's a train to take you anywhere you think you'd like to be. Imagination is all you need. The ride is always free. The conductor is a wizard, a kindly man and wise. His magic can accomplish almost anything he tries. If you've got a thing for dragons, well, he's the guy to see. Or if love is all you're looking for, the wizard holds the key. The locomotive is a massive thing. It billows smoke and steam. If you'd like to be the engineer, would include that in your dreams. The tracks stretch out in front of you, no matter where you turn. So how you'll get back home again, well, it's never a concern. It's a train to take you anywhere you think you'd like to be. Imagination is all you need. The ride is always free. So the train of thought that you're looking for, it's the Unicorn Express. Anyone who gets aboard will be favorably impressed. It's the kind of entertainment from which you'll never tire, and it only stops in places that'll match your heart's desire.
Steve, I've seen you locally and heard you on here. I think we've talked a couple times on things.
Yes.
You're always playful. I think your songs have always had that. I was wondering when you may have told me this before, but when did you start writing songs and playing them?
Uh, it's just about 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think I've mentioned in the past I played back when I was in college, but then there was a 50-year hiatus where I didn't play at all. And then when I started playing again about 5 years ago, I quickly recognized that I needed new material.
Yeah, that's a good reason to write your own songs. I think that's what I found. The back when you played originally in college, did you go to open mics?
Um, Back then, they were called hootenannies,
Uh-huh.
and there were such things. Um, in between the two times that I dropped out of college, I spent a year and a half in Chicago, and
Ah,
there were lots of hootenannies there, and I played at these things with some names that I fondly remember. Um,
uh,
but it was a far more organized and well attended kind of thing because there were some big names that showed up. So we'd be playing to big audiences, and it was kind of fun.
so but there was a blend between locals and people coming through.
Yeah.
Or are you saying that the folks turned out to be big in the long run?
Well, no, I mean I distinctly remember playing next to Dave Van Ronk, which
Hmm.
is he was a big influence on how I play. Um, and there were others, and I have a horrible memory, so I don't.
Did,
I can't give you a list.
so what I remember from back then is Sing Out magazine. Did you get Sing Out?
I remember it. I didn't have a subscription.
I remember seeing Fixing to Die Rag for the first time in Sing Out magazine. That was before Country Joe joined the Fish back then.
Yeah, that was a fine tune.
Yes, a fine tune, exactly. Have you um seen Joe out here playing?
I have not. I'm 82 years old. I don't get out much.
Well, he's been playing for a while,
Yeah, that's true.
too. But so I think I saw you at the Monkey House, I think, a few months ago. You
Yeah,
came and played there.
yeah. I should have listed that as one of the things that I like to play at. They don't want more than two or three, and I just. But the Monkey House that's a great room. Uh, it's a very comfortable place to play.
Yeah, it is. He's struggling to keep it going, like any place that doesn't have a huge grant or outside funding, but he's
Yeah,
doing a good job of it, I think.
yeah. He has a lot of things going on there.
Yeah, yeah. So that's an interesting thing too. How do you keep an open mic? Like here, we have it going once a week, a few times a month. But if you have a concrete building, you're dealing with brick and mortar, you've got a lot more to fund.
Yeah,
'Cause-
and Ira has he has the horrors of ownership. I think
Yes.
that's his home as well as his venue. So it's a lot of. I have to admire the guy. I mean, wow.
Yeah, he's been putting in the time and money and for a while now on that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
He
nice.
works at it, and he does a good job. Does a good
Yeah,
job.
I think so too. I think so too. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you next time, and maybe I'll see you around the Bay Area sometime.
Oh,
Uh,
look forward to
Also,
that.
keep my eyes out.
Yeah.
Take care, Steve.
Okay. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Wow, what fun. The hits just keep coming. And so now we're going to go ahead and turn the stage over to Tom Maynard, who's in Plaistow, New Hampshire. And his favorite open mics are clear on another section of the planet. Well, I mean, not all that far away, but it's still a little ways away. Rosalinda, Massachusetts, the Open Mike Parish Center for the Arts, Westford, Massachusetts. Ellen Schmidt, Open Mic in Boxborough, MA. So, Tom, it's good to see you on the Open Mic America stage. What do you have in your heart you'd like to put out through music tonight?
Oh, thank you, Evan. It's really great being here. You folks do a wonderful job, and it's really an honor to be able to play here with you all. I've got a couple of songs. One is pretty new, and actually, I was a couple months ago. I was digging through some old lyric sheets and digitizing them because we were in the process of moving. We're actually now in Thompson, Connecticut, as opposed to Plaistow, New Hampshire. But we've only been here like a month and a couple of weeks. And in the process of going through these old lyric sheets and digitizing them, I found a lyric sheet that I didn't recognize, and it was in my wife's handwriting. And it's definitely feels like it's her voice, although she doesn't remember having written it. so just about a week ago, I decided, or 2 weeks ago, I decided to try to put it to music. So this is my first real collaboration with my wife Debbie, and it's called "Song of the Roses." This was the front door where roses still grow. They were planted with care a long time ago. The old foundation is filled now with trees and a breeze where the roof used to be. Hands built these old walls, stacked stone on stone. They broke their backs to make New England their home. They walked on the land from winter to spring, and as they planted their roses, they'd sing. Grow strong and take root, grow sturdy and wild. This life is not for the meek or the mild. May you still grow here after we're gone, and may you still be singing your song. If I lived here, my kitchen window would be in the back, where I could see that old apple tree. And look, there are lilies by the old cellar stair, and lilacs to sweeten the air. I feel them all around me out here in the woods. Their life was so hard, but I think it was good. When flowers bloomed, souls would fly like birds on the wing, and rocking their babies they'd sing. Grow strong and take root, grow sturdy and wild. This life is not for the meek or the mild. May you still grow here after we're gone, and may you still be singing your song. Why did they leave? Where did they go? What happened to them? Does anyone know? Roses that bloom I adore, long since gone. Sing a memory, sing still singing your song. Grow strong and take root, grow sturdy and wild. This life is not for the meek or the mild. May you still grow here long after we're gone, and may you still be singing your song. May you still be singing your song. So this next song is was written a couple years ago. It's sort of a love song. It's called Let's Pretend. Let's pretend that we've just met and we're first feeling that spark. In 40 years haven't swiftly flown past. Let's pretend. Let's imagine we've yet to taste kisses, and in the trembling dark we're swept away, our hearts beating fast. Let's pretend. And our hearts unbroken will never need mending, so innocent and free. The miles and the years and the smiles and the tears have not yet come to be, have not yet come to be. Let's pretend that I haven't hurt you in all of those little ways, and you still look at me with your shining eyes. Let's pretend. Let's imagine that all of our choices have added up to say that we live in a place where regrets cause no sighs. Let's pretend. And our hearts unbroken will never need mending, so innocent and free. The miles and the years and the smiles and the tears have not yet come to be, have not yet come to be. But what if all the trial and strife, even the innocence lost, have been transformed to an even greater love, and we don't have to pretend, and we don't have to pretend.
Wow.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Very nice. Wonderful.
So much.
That was I set this here. Very nice. You have a very sweet voice, Tom, for
Thank you, Robert.
delivering these, and a very lovely delivery of both bass and the melody. You bring the melody out as on the guitar as you play it, and very cleanly, and it makes for a really nice delivery. So that's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
How long have you been playing? For a while?
Oh, I started playing back when I was a teenager. My family's very musical, and my sister brought the guitar into the house in the first place, and then my brother picked it up and started playing it. And I'm the youngest of five, so
Wow.
it was sort of a natural thing to go to the guitar after all of that. But I actually stepped away from the guitar for a long time when the kids were younger. So I came back to it in my late 20s, early 30s, and worked really, really hard on that whole bringing the melody out business. It's
Uh-huh.
sort of been the goal I've had for quite a long time. So thank you for that.
What guitars did you listen to while you were
Oh
working
gosh,
through
well,
that?
a lot of the music was introduced to me by my dad, who would sit up at night doing the accounting in his bedroom, and I'd be listening to Kingston Trio and Peter, Paul, and Mary and Tom Rush, and Judy Collins. It was Leonard Cohen, lots of stuff coming through there. But as I developed my own musical taste, it was more like Gordon Lightfoot was a big influence, and Dan Fogelberg, folks like Stan Rogers, Canadian singer-songwriter who passed in the 80s, that kind of thing. Those are the folks that I've been, had the most influence.
Um, yeah, it was interesting the collaborative piece that you wrote. Of course, that started with the lyrics. So the
Yes.
old question, do you start with lyrics or music? That started with lyrics. The way that you wove the melody in that reminded me of a rose growing, the vines growing on that, and you continued to play it throughout, and you had a melody solo there, and it just wove its way through the chords very nicely.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, that was an interesting thing. Lately I've been falling into patterns, and I try to break those patterns as much as I can. I actually was planning on doing two songs tonight that had the same A minor, G, F, E descending kind of chord progression. So I deliberately switched out the second one to the waltz. But I tried not to go there with the song that my wife and I collaborated on. It's but it came out kind of different than a lot of the other things I've been working on. So I was pretty happy with it anyway. But
What
yeah,
difference?
there's something about A minor or C, and those chord shapes that really give me an opportunity to get the melody notes all around the chords. It's the most comfortable place in the neck for me, and so I tend to use the capo to change key. But I
Uh-huh.
love that C, how
Yeah.
natural C or G feels with the melody underneath it.
Yeah, you've got some nice ornament going on with your fingers, hammer-ons and such on there.
And some of that stuff came from learning Celtic fingerstyle. I
Yeah.
had a teacher named David Surratt who was very, very influential up here in the Northeast. He's passed just recently from cancer, but he taught at the Summer Acoustic Music Week up in New Hampshire. That's a music camp sponsored by WUMB. And I learned altered tunings from him, and the altered tunings actually opened up things so that I started to think more melodically and work up things with a lot more movement in them, and melodic and bass movement and such. So I credit a lot of my technique to David.
The Celtic songs can bring you into different modes too, for
Right.
rather than just the major minor that we have.
Right. And he was big on dadgad. So a modal D, and which I usually capo up to. So it's really modal E. But it's I love that. I love that where you could move easily from minor to major if you want to, or just having the strings ringing all the time. You can have a real bell-like, and it's the gypsy guitars that Capo Dave talks about. Sounds like it would be a really sort of natural fit to have that ringing sound. It's exciting.
Yeah, yeah. We're all looking forward to hearing more of his guitars as they get out and get played. I see them on his walls. Hey, thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you, Robert.
We'll see you again. Thanks very much.
Oh my goodness, I feel just so excited, like a little kid whose best friend grabbed the leading role in a Christmas play, and I'm in the audience on opening night, because right now we have an exciting thing that's going to happen, and I am eager to turn this stage over to Open Mic America founder Capo Dave Williams while he tells us what's happening right now.
Thanks, Evan. Before we get to the Open Mic America little gypsy guitar drawing, I want to change my screen here. I hate just looking at myself. Okay, yeah. First order of business. This is the last show of Open Mic America in 2023, and we're somewhere near 90 shows we've done altogether since this whole thing started. And I want to express season's greetings, happy holidays to everyone, number one, and gratitude to our wonderful staff. And tonight we have a number with us, some playing. Mike Simpson is a staff guy, and he's playing tonight. Robert Edgar on our staff and plays. Steve Andersen will be an interview host coming up pretty soon. And Evan Acey, also, who's our show host tonight, is staff and a fine musician on Open Mic America. That's first order of business. Second order of business, the whole idea behind Open Mic America was to support the local open mics. Effectively, the idea was if we put together a show that's the big leagues of open mic players, and we support the local open mics, will help that whole thing flourish. And we have a man here tonight who has done that, a yeoman's job doing that, and that is Mr. Evan Acey. Mr. Evan Acey, 17 years ago, started an endeavor over in Beaverton. By his own account, he was frustrated because he wanted to play Moody Blues songs, and he went out to play, and evidently he was just a little bit deficient in his skills at that time, and that's not the case now. But he said, well, I need some place to play. Well, I'll put an open mic together myself. And he did. And that was 17 years ago. And they've had thousands of people come across that stage. And there's a number of them who have become working professional musicians. And that's not nothing. Furthermore, and he just made me aware of this a little while ago. This is pretty impressive. Need glasses to read it, but I was gobsmacked. Every first Tuesday, as many as 48 musicians are sent by Influence Music Hall. That's the name of the organization. To as many as 20 venues, and they're paid a $40 an hour stipend for playing, and it's reimbursed by the city of Hillsborough. Now that's pretty impressive. The award they just won was Organization of the Year in Washington County, Oregon. And that's Influence Music Hall, folks. This guy has done a lot for the open mic community locally, and my hat's off to him. Okay. Well, now what we're on about now is we're about to have a drawing, and this is something that's just been an insider thing. And I've only talked about it before and after the show. It's the first time I'm talking about it at the show, so there are people who don't know what it's all about. and it's about a guitar that I started to develop 3 years ago. I found out that by accident I had built a guitar that was set up the same way as Django Reinhardt's guitars, a design that seemingly reached a dead end when the designer got fired by Selmer Music Company for another reason. And all these years have gone by, and the only instances of guitars like this are replicas of Django's guitar and made for gypsy jazz, gypsy jazz, gypsy jazz. And my mission now, I've just decided, is to build a guitar that uses the tailpiece and floating bridge that will make a sound that is somewhere in between a really good archtop guitar, which is somewhat clangy, I use the word clangy, and say a D28, something that's right in between that gives good definition for notes. I've built 23 prototypes, and we're getting closer and closer to the ideal. The last 4 or 5 are actually hitting the marks in some ways. And we've given one guitar away for free on Open Mic America earlier. And tonight is the night. Everyone that plays on Open Mic America gets a ticket in the bowl every time you play on Open Mic America. We're going to have another giveaway next year. It's going to be next year, same time. And this is all the instances of all the people who have played on Open Mic America. And right now, I'm going to pick the winner. Nothing up my sleeve. See that? I've got one. That's one ticket. One ticket. Oh my God. The winner is Bet Paget.
Oh, wow, on the show.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. Woo.
The odds of picking somebody that's on the show, Bet Paget has won, the little gypsy.
Right on.
I am so thrilled. I am so
Oh my
thrilled.
God.
This is great.
How many times have you been on the show since we started this?
I don't know, five
5
maybe.
times. So we've probably, your odds were probably 5 in 200 or something like that.
Wow.
I think that's about.
This is the first time I've won anything. This is great. Look, my dogs come to help me celebrate.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Oh,
And
this is wonderful.
And
Yeah.
I'll be working with you. I'm going to get with you, and we're going to make sure you get a guitar with a neck the way you like it. I'll make it the way you like it. We'll either use a prototype that we have, or even build a new one. So we're going to
Fabulous.
make sure that you're happy with your little gypsy. So that's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Speech.
Okay, well, and this is a little gypsy. Again, there's one right there. This is number 21. They're finished with gun oil, very thin finish. Okay. All right, well, that's it. Back to the show, folks. Unbelievable. I can't believe it.
All right. Congratulations, Bet Paget. And the hits just keep coming. Our next performer tonight is going to be Hank Stone. Hank is in Patchogue, New York, and he is frequenting the North Shore Original Open Mic Wednesdays at the Sky Room in Cinema Arts Center, Huntington, New York. Hank Stone, what's in your heart that you want to project their music on the Open Mic America stage today?
I'm going to do a love song. Actually, let me just correct. I should tell everybody how to pronounce the town. It's Patchogue. And the way to think of it is like catalog, or epilogue. It ends with O-G-U-E, but it's Patchogue. But it's okay. You can say it any way you want. It's a nice town. And I'm going to do a kind of a love song. It's a mashup. I thought the song was finished, but just last week I got another part added to it. So here it goes.
All the love we see is the love we show. All the love we see is the love we show. Don't go. Don't go. Don't go. Baby, don't go. All the love we hear is the love we say. All the love we hear is the love we say. Please stay. Please stay. Oh, stay. Why don't you stay? Heaven lets the love fall down. We sweep it up right off the ground. The world needs another love song, like it needs a hole in the head. Does the night sky even notice one more star? They may be beautiful, they may be inspiring, but inconsequential is all they truly are. Still, I love you, and I love you. It's a drop in the bucket in the ocean of love. And I will sing, I love you, in hopes it will be heard by the stars above. Heaven lets the love fall down. We sweep it up right from the ground. All the love we take is the love we give. All the love we take is the love we give. Let's live and forgive. Let's live. Let's forgive. Really nice.
So we're in the holiday season. I've actually written maybe 10, 15, 20 songs, mostly Christmas, but other things for the solstice and Thanksgiving. The holidays seem to inspire a lot of songs. This is fairly recent, a couple years. I recorded it with a local studio about 2 years ago with my trio, and it's called, it's more in preparation for the solstice. It's called Hope is Reborn.
It's December and it gets dark early. It happens every year. My friends say, don't worry, winter solstice is drawing near. Why do we have to wait so long for the sun to climb higher in the sky? Light a candle, huddle close, the season of hope is nigh. Hope is reborn. Hope is reborn. Every night, with every light, hope is reborn. The old clock of the universe has been ticking for billions of years. Nobody knows how it got wound up to play the music of the spheres. The earth rolls around the sun and it wobbles on its path. Astronomers all study the stars and then they is reborn. Hope is reborn. Every night, with every light, hope is reborn. Hope is reborn. We join together and rejoice, kindling harmony. One heart, one voice. Weary travelers seek refuge, and once again they are turned away. What if we all had to wander like that, just to find a safe place to stay? Your father's touch, your mother's gaze. You were born at a difficult time. If we are wise, we will bring gifts, cool reason, and sweet rhyme. And hope is reborn. Hope is reborn. Every night, with every light, hope is reborn. Hope is reborn. Hope is reborn. Every night, with every light, hope is reborn. I like that. That was great.
Right.
Good feel.
Hello, Hank. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you fine.
Ah, good. So you're around Long Island, right?
Yes.
Long Island. How long have you been there?
Well, I was born and grew up in the borough of Queens in New York City.
Yeah.
But we moved the family out to Long Island about halfway to Montauk Point. We were right in the middle, about 1985 or so. So it's been, more than half my life I've been on the island now. So.
How do you feel it is? Do you feel there's a pull to Manhattan, or that you've got there's an anchoring in Long Island itself?
Well, we've got an anchoring here because I used to feel, in Queens, everything was oriented towards the city. You had to go jump on the subway and go to the happening places, and it was you had a sense there was a lot of competition. I didn't feel like I was up to going into Folk City or somewhere like that. But once I moved out to the island, and it's only been joined the circle out here around 20 years ago, and it's a really good community of songwriters that we support each other. We have a lot of venues, and people are doing things, like podcasts and streaming and stuff, as well as live venues.
So you've been doing open mics there, and you say you've got a trio. So do you? What type of music does the trio play?
Actually, I had a band. The Hank Stone Band was a quartet a few years ago. We kind of on hiatus, I guess, a long time, and then I did just kind of fold together with a trio we called the South Country String Band, and that just went the way of all the other bands. But so currently, I'll occasionally play with a bass player, but mostly solo stuff now.
And for when you play out, do you play mostly your own songs, or a mix?
It depends on the venue. It's a mix. I don't mind if I'm playing in a bar or winery or restaurant or somewhere. I can do a couple hours of. I'll mix it up. I'll do maybe half covers and half of my own songs, and people will just think it's my own songs. They'll think it's a song they don't know that was a hit or something.
Right, which it is, of course, if they don't know.
In an alternate universe, right?
So you don't feel a push to do covers, but you can do your own.
Yeah, I have an awful lot of my own songs, so I feel like I could do a whole evening of my own if people were willing to listen, and that's the next thing. We try to go to the local venues that do the folk, traveling songwriters, and some of the nice bands. We get in there too. They do feature a lot of our locals, and we get the respect,
How is it working with others in a band when you've done that for your quartet or the trio? How do you work out playing your songs? Do you share songwriting with others, or
No, not
how's
in the
that?
bands. In the band I had as the quartet, they were just good players, and they just happened to like my song. So I would bring them almost anything, and they say that's a good one. We'll do that.
Uh-huh.
Occasionally there would be one they say that's weird or something. But my best thing, as far as collaborations, I never thought of writing with anyone else, as you kind of asked. But I've been part of a online songwriting circle. We meet every couple of weeks on a Sunday evening, uh, and we'll get a prompt, and everybody will write a song on that prompt, and that's been very good because you see some of the people who are beginners, and you just watch their progress to getting good at it, and some of us
Yeah.
that have been around a long time, you get new songs. It's very good, and some of the prompts said you have to write as a co-write with somebody else, and I
Uh-huh.
was resistant to that at first, but I've probably done maybe 2 dozen co-writes now, and I'm very
Wow.
happy with some of them. They're songs that wouldn't have been birthed if it wasn't for the prompt and the collaboration.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's an interesting experience to write with others, and I know sometimes I've written with people who are writers, and they come with lyrics and no music, and then developing music with other musicians is a different experience also on there. Of course, when you're in a trio, everyone's got a part, so they either have to come up with their own uh, or write. But there's a certain freedom when you're writing your own songs and you have someone else you're with. If if they'll play your music, if they'll play your song, they can do their own orchestration on it and come up, so everyone gets a voice there.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's. Do you have any gigs coming up with them? You say you're mostly doing your own solo work now for
Yeah, well,
live
currently I'm
playing.
working in the studio. I'm sorry if I'm cutting off your question. No, I'm working in the studio on my new album, and I'm hope to get that done by March. So I don't have a lot of gigs on the schedule right now. We just did a tribute to Harry Chapin. There's an annual
Yeah.
tribute on Long Island since he was a Long Islander, and he did so much to help feed the hungry on everywhere. Uh, there's been an annual concert, and we just did that last week, and it went really well. And I was just asked to take part in the Gordon Lightfoot tribute coming up in March. Uh,
Yeah.
and so I'm learning a couple of songs that I didn't know, and it's going to be fun,
Oh,
kind of
that sounds
expand
great.
the palette. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, good luck with that, and hope to see you again here and hear you again here, if not in New York. Take care. Thank
Thank you.
you, Hank.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Hank. So, next on the Open Mic America stage, we have Mike Simpson from Saratoga, California. And Mike is frequenting locally in his area. He says Open Mic America is right at the top of his favorite open mic list. Local to him, he has the second Saturday open mic at the First Unitarian Church in San Jose. And so, Mike, welcome to the Open Mic America stage. Good to see you back. What do you got that you'd like to play from your heart tonight?
Unmute myself. All right. Well, I just sort of looked around my list of songs that I've written and chose a couple. Um, this one doesn't really require explanation, but it might be of interest to the songwriters here. I was taking a songwriting class from a very fine songwriting teacher in Palo Alto, and she did a number of different kinds of prompt things that she did, and sometimes they were for everybody, and sometimes they were individual. And she told me, she said, I think I think you need to connect some songs, to write a series. What I want you to do is I'm gonna give you a bit of a plot for a movie, maybe like a musical. and you write 3 songs for that connected, and her plot involved a shall we say a triangle of affection among people, and so this is the middle song of the 3, from the middle of the movie when things are working toward a resolution but not yet completed. You say fair is fair, and I agree. We each have to reach for what we can be. Does no good to play the fool that we both see. It would simply waste both our time. Yet what if love means more than fair? Is equal the only way to share? What of the way that we still care? Love lightens every load we bear. What better things have we in store? How do we know we can't make more? I feel that we can still work for a plan beyond the moment at hand. Yet what if love means more than fair? Is equal the only way to share? What of the way that we still care? Love lightens every load we bear. You say fair is fair, I agree it's true. But is there no more that we can do? Oh, what if love means more than fair? My love, what if love means more than fair?
Great.
Very sweet.
All right. Now to a much older song. Insofar as I have a hit, this is probably it. I was in San Francisco. Got there early in the morning to meet and have breakfast with someone who was offering me seats at a 49ers game back in their old stadium. And so you had to fortify yourself before you went into that place in the fall because it was windy and cold all the time there. And that's what this one's about. The morning's 2 hours old. I'm standing on Polk Street. Feels like the city is being born. Fog is pressing on my feet. She's a pretty old town. She's a pretty old town. The little pastel houses walk the hillside in their rows. It's noon now and still foggy around here. That's just how it goes on. She's a pretty old town. She's a pretty old town. And I walk around the sunset. I wander through the hate. Down streets that grin in boxes, down streets that ride like snakes. She's a pretty old town. She's a pretty old town. I wouldn't want to live here, not for $1 million or in a million years. I am not an honest suitor, just an old gentleman caller looking to see this lovely old girl. Grant Street has a gate because it leads to another land, where the talking sounds like song, silk brushes against my hand. She's a pretty old town. She's a pretty old town. And at last I stand above her gateway, the sea beneath my shoes. Small boats flock like racing birds, the sun steams off my blues. She's a pretty old town. She's a pretty old town. But I wouldn't want to live here, not for $1 million or for diamonds or pearls. I am not an honest suitor, just an old gentleman caller looking to see this lovely old girl. The morning's 2 hours old. I'm standing on Polk Street, and it feels like the city is being born. The fog is pressing on my feet. She's a pretty old town. She's a pretty old town. She's a pretty old town. A pretty old town. She's a pretty old town. She's a pretty old town.
What a sweet
nice.
feeling.
That was lovely.
Pretty old song.
Thank you.
Hi, Mike. How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I got a little bit of a hang on of a cold. That
Yeah, I remember
3
from a
week
week
cold
ago.
that's been several months now.
Ah, wow. Listen, that was an absolutely gorgeous song. You say it's your hit. It's a hit like a kiss. It's absolutely beautiful. I also love San Francisco, and as you had your references going through it, I could think of them in my mind, and walk through the different areas as you said them. It really brought me in. But what I liked most about it, well, there's several things I like about it, but one of the things was that the tune and the atmosphere of the tune wasn't like any other songs about San Francisco that I'd heard.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Uh-huh. It's also, uh, as I'm sure you know, a beautiful structure to spend the first couple verses singing your love for it, and then cut to a but I wouldn't want to live here, not, that's
Yeah, the Chamber of Commerce didn't like that part, but
they didn't want to pay you for it, use it for
yeah.
replace San Francisco in the Giants games. They should. That's a lovely song.
It's a pretty old town.
Yeah. The your it sounds to me like you would be writing the chords as you develop the melody. It didn't. It seemed in both of your songs they seemed very well blended. And do you do them both, or do you do the chords first or melody first?
Well, if you're asking in general, the answer is there is no single general answer, but on that particular song, actually, the whole lyric was written like a poem first, and then I wrote the instrumental part because at that time the instrument I was playing, which was a baritone guitar, was very new to me, and so I was actually resetting the song from a former musical setting. And so then I had to rewrite the melody in order to match that. So it's pretty much inverted from what it sounds like the song. I agree with you. It sounds like a song that was written melody first, but it actually, no, it was lyric, then the fingerstyle stuff, and then the melody
Uh-huh.
for that one.
And that.
The other song was written pretty much whole hog together. Once I knew that I was going to write it in a sort of a 2-5-1 jazz sort of a style,
Uh-huh.
then everything else was a bit dictated by that.
Um, the You've been a producer, right? Do you find that did you start as a producer or as a musician?
No, I started as a boy soprano soloist in New York with a large orchestra's
Wow.
children's choir for the New York Philharmonic. That was my first serious musical sort of stuff. And at one point, my voice was a lot higher, and I was a lot fuller. So,
I understand many of us went through that change of pitch. The So you worked your way to the left coast from New
well,
York.
my father worked his way to the left coast. He was a technologist back before that term was known, and he was a mathematician in an enormous project during World War II, and he ended up he started working in explosives actually because he had the math to predict how things would happen and make sure nobody got blown up. So he did that, but then he went to work for many years. He worked for Lockheed, and so we moved first to Southern California and then up here to LMSC, Lockheed Missiles and Space in Sunnyvale, and we lived in Saratoga.
Uh-huh. So we have that in common. Both our parents, both our fathers, worked with the space program.
Right.
That's, that.
Yeah, if you ever remember that there used to be a time when we would send people into space, when they did the one where they had 3 people in one capsule and sent them up there. The second stage of that was called Agena, and my old man was the chief systems engineer for the Agena project and many
Uh,
other projects. But that was the one he was, I think, proudest of.
uh-huh. Yeah, I saw most of those as they went up. We talked before, and I was down Cocoa Beach from 50s through the 70s there, and that. but most of the work, a good deal of the design work, was done out here.
Yeah.
And of course,
The
Huntsville.
bulk of it, in fact.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've still got the blimp hangers here to show some of the references to the aerospace, or at least aero.
Yeah. I have an unfinished song I've never completed. I think now that my dad passed about a year ago, I think now that he's gone and not adding to the stack anymore, I think I'll probably finish it. But it's about aerospace engineering and the price that one's soul pays for some of the crossover uses of your technology.
Yeah, that's absolutely real. And I'd love to hear it when you.
Yeah, I'll play
as
it
you
here once
develop.
I get it done. Yeah.
Well, maybe. Lovely stuff, Mike.
Thank you.
It always is. I hope to, and maybe sometime we'll actually see each other in flesh mode here in the
Yes,
Bay Area.
yes.
But we seem to miss each other, or have been for a while.
Yeah. Well,
But I'll look to see you soon. Let me know if you're playing somewhere around, and
okay.
I'll see if I can come see you.
All right, we'll do.
Hey, thank you. It was lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Thank you.
All right. Yes. Thank you for that, Mike. And next we have on the stage the woman of the hour, the winner of Open Mic America, Capo Dave's gypsy guitar. Wonderful. Congratulations on that, Bet. You know, it's just wonderful to have you on the stage. You always light it up when it's your turn, and that turn is right now. So Bet Paget is coming in tonight from Raleigh, North Carolina, and Bet loves to play at the, well, let's see, oh yeah, the Monday Night Song Circle, which is virtual, and then a live open mic that is at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Raleigh, and it's a coffee house. Yeah. Well, welcome to the stage, Bet. What would you like to perform for us tonight?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say I'm enjoying everybody's music tonight. It's wonderful, always is, and that you all are very generous to give your time to do this every Sunday night. So, but being the holiday season, I've got a couple of songs that I've written about the holidays, so I thought I'd start there. 200 to 300 years ago, the Roman pagans celebrated the shortest day of the year, that time frame, with a festival they called Saturnalia. And their customs were so much like our Christmas and Hanukkah that I wrote a song about it. So this is called The Rites of Christmas. To celebrate the sun's return, lights were lit as the seasons turn. Ancients gathered round the fire for warmth, not out of fear. Evergreens were brought in tours, people gave to the rich and poor. The short days were spent in merriment and cheer. The pagans' rites we carry on to calm the heart in a world unknown. We dream of peace and love for all this time of year. Seasons come and the seasons go, firelight and mistletoe, a time to see all the friends we know this time of year. Candles lit and the windows glow, it's warm inside as we watch the snow. We'll bundle up before we go this time of year. People smile as the season nears, presents wrapped for another year. We sing along with all the songs we hear this time of year. This is why the holidays are so special. Everyone is full of smiles and good cheer. We all forget our misgivings and forgive each other at this time of year. Evergreens we bring indoors, we're generous to the rich and poor. We spend the short days in merriment and cheer. Why can't we treat each day like Christmas Day? Why can't the harmony between us stay and keep peace in our heart so Christmas lasts all year? Customs change, customs stay the same. They're so much alike, but with different names. Who will celebrate 2,000 years from now? Catch the little Joni Mitchell in there.
Yes, yes.
Her river song. So anyhow, before I start my next song, I want to say I am thrilled to have won the Little Gypsy. I've heard Capo Dave give his explanation of how he builds them, how they're different, and his comparison, he would give a little demonstration of them, and I always thought it was really, really beautiful. So I am absolutely thrilled that my name was one of 200 that was pulled out of that fishbowl. I'm real excited. So anyhow, my next song is about Christmas cookie molds that my mother used when I was a little girl, and the song is called The Christmas Cookie Cutters, although they're Christmas cookie molds. If I had titled the song The Christmas Cookie Molds, that would be kind of icky. So, but here they are. This is the box, Aunt Chick's Christmas Cookie Molds, and there's this long story about how my mom and I made these cookies together, but you can see these are three-dimensional, and the way that you make them is you roll out the cookie dough, and then you press the mold on top of the dough, and then you scoop it up with a spatula, and then you turn it over and you press the dough down into the mold. Then you throw the mold down on the counter and hope that the dough comes out in the shape of the cookie. It takes a very long time to make these cookies. So, oh, and mine are so worn that I don't know if you can see the Santa's hat is got a chip out of it, and there's splits in the. Anyhow, I still make these cookies. It's a tradition in my family, has been since my son was 7 years old, and that was a long time ago. Anyhow, I've got replicas of these cookie molds. So this song is called The Christmas Cookie Cutters. They're safe in a drawer in the kitchen, obscurely tucked away in the back. Their box is so tattered and torn now, maybe that's why some of them cracked. One day I hear mid-December, as the mixer is blending the dough, I bring them out to the counter, then I flour my hands as I go. The Santa is everyone's favorite, but now there's a split in his cap. and there's one in the toe of the stocking, but I hope some glue will fix that. They're pressed in the dough that's rolled, flattened, and cut to their holiday form. And I love singing carols like I did with my mom years ago. I remember the time not too long ago, my husband sneaked in the kitchen, his eyes on the bowl. With one swoop of his hand, he scooped out some dough. I threatened to send him off to the North Pole. There's a chip in the tree and a star now. When I think of them, oh, how I laugh. The memories they bring are so simple, of family and friends and the past. Finally, their task is completed, and the cookies are ready to go. Sparkling with colorful sugar, now my grandchildren take them on home. So off to their drawer in the kitchen, in the back where they'll never be seen. But no, they're a part of this family, and I hope that they always will be.
Amazing. Very sweet. That was guitar work.
Hi, Beth. Those were lovely, as
Thank
usual from you. It two songs about Christmas. So what that reminds me of, you mentioned that you would sing Christmas carols with your mother when you were making the cookies. I think it was a couple of years ago at a Thanksgiving, sitting around at Thanksgiving. I was announcing, getting ready to eat, and I made the statement that it seemed to me that if you have a tradition, it's important. In fact, it's absolutely necessary not to repeat it because it's been repeated. In other words, it's a habit, but rather there's a need to make it fresh each time so that it is reinvented each time that it comes around. Otherwise, it becomes a habit or that sort of thing. And, the family, it gets weaker as it goes forward. But, with Christmas songs, with writing your own, you're not throwing out the carols that have been there, but you are making a definite move to make it new and to rechristen the day in that time, seems to me.
Never thought of that as, being habits. But yeah, I mean, new holiday songs I think are being created all the time. And I think people have their own remembrances and their own histories with the holidays and want to keep them alive. And music's a good way to do that. Writing your own experiences about the holidays is a good way to carry those memories on.
Now, will you be singing those with your family? Will that be?
Oh, Christmas songs or these songs that I just sang?
Both, I guess.
My family when I was young, we would sing Christmas songs and holiday songs on Christmas Day. We sort of fell out of the habit because the family is all over the place. But we'll be visiting my sister next week. She's in like a hospital type facility, and I plan to take my guitar and banjo, and we'll bring that old habit back or tradition of singing some holiday songs this year. I think would be very important for her and for the family. So, but music, music is a very emotional thing as well as fun and loving and a family-oriented kind of way to celebrate the holidays through music. I think gives memories that that are so special. I know so many people who remember their experiences because of music. And I mean, you go to nursing homes and see people who don't recognize their own spouses because of dementia and Alzheimer's, but they remember the words to all the songs. So you know that music touches the heart and it touches the memory in a very special way.
Yeah, it kind of almost resonates in the cells. I know, old songs. And yes, I have a dear friend out here who we went to many open mics together over the years and played together in other places. But a few years ago, he started going specifically to nursing homes and places and singing. And it pulled him into going back to music, songs from the 20s and 30s and 40s for the people who were there. So it stretched him into more music than he was bringing them, but he could tell that what would get them, what would resonate with them, so that they would be there. That's a lovely thing to see. Music and I guess smells, but I guess if you're doing open mics with the smells, that probably bringing your cookies would
do it.
help with that.
Yeah, well, being my family's tradition, I tried to start a tradition of taking a bunch of friends of mine to Ronald McDonald House in Durham at Duke, and my grandsons would go with me, and friends my age would go, and we would spend one day making cookies with these cookie molds of mine, for all the families of the children who were in the hospital during the Christmas time, and that was just very special. Some of the parents of the children would come stand in the kitchen and watch us and sing. We would sing Christmas carols as we made the cookies, and it was a great fun. It was wonderful. So the music and cookies, and so many people bake at this time of year, and families will get together and bake this time of year. So making the cookies and singing the carols in the Ronald McDonald House kitchen was pretty cool. It was a good feeling. But then COVID came along and sort of squelched that. And COVID is still out there. It's not gone away. So
yeah, our hospitals around here had stopped requiring one to wear a mask when one came in, and last month they reinstated it.
Wow.
So that's Stanford and the community around here.
Wow.
So it's they're thinking that it's probably good to step back a bit and try to manage that a little bit. I hope you have a absolutely wonderful Christmas this year with your sister and what family and friends you have. And in the new year, you can write perhaps another Christmas song on your new guitar that they
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you so much.
All right. What an evening. In fact, actually, I can honestly say, what a year. Our next performer will actually be the final Open Mic America performance for the year of 2023. And Charles Absher is no stranger to this stage. In fact, it's very possible that he was here at the very first show of 2023. And so we're glad to have him back on the stage. And what a way to close out the year as far as performances go. And so Charles Absher is coming in from Avondale Estates, Georgia. And he likes to hang out at Walter's Coffee Shop in Decatur, if you're French, Decatur, Georgia, is how I'll pronounce it for now. But Charles, what is in your heart to close out this wonderful Open Mic America year for us?
Oh, my heart is overflowing. What a wonderful night of music. And thank you for letting me be a part of it. And I didn't realize it. Yeah, I was on the first show, January 2nd or 3rd. I don't know. It was the first one this year. And now I'm on the last one. That's amazing. And it's quite ironic for me because usually with my last name, starting with AB, I'm usually first in line on everything. And it had quite a emotional impact to my life, being first. But I got a couple of songs written this year, finished up this year. The first one, I met a man, was able to have a good long conversation with him, and he showed me a poem he had written. The poem was, I'm the luckiest man on earth. And but he then proceeded to tell me about many of the tragic things that had happened in his life, but he would always come back to the fact he had family and he had faith. And I came to realize as I was talking with him, he probably had the most positive attitude of any person I've ever met. So I wrote this song about him. It's called I'm the Luckiest Man Alive. I'm the luckiest man alive, like the winter weather. Almost froze on that mountainside, things couldn't get any better. I'm the luckiest man alive, like the accident years later. Took some time to retrieve my mind, things couldn't get any better. I'm the luckiest man alive, forever a lover by my side. One of the smartest things I've done. Raised two kids, they make us happy. Love it when they call me Pappy. Couldn't ask for any finer sons. I'm the luckiest man alive, like the bout I had with cancer. Took a quarter of my weight, things couldn't get any better. I'm the luckiest man alive, like the road trips with my brother. Music, song, oh what a time, couldn't get any better. I'm the luckiest man alive, people I love by my side. I'm amazed by this life of mine. Making memories and friends, loving all the crooks and bends. How did I deserve a life so fine? I'm the luckiest man alive, like the spirit to which I'm tethered. Every morning I give thanks, couldn't get any better. next time when we meet, my friend, I'll be the luckiest man alive.
Oh yeah.
Nice
Very nice,
tribute.
Joe.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I'm a child of the South. I was born and raised in the South. I've lived most of my life in the South. And wanted to write this song for quite a while. This is called Song of the South. And for you guitar players out there, I'm actually tuning down my upper E and upper in pitch E down to D. So I've got a upper drop D, if you will. Song of the South. Where I come from, Southern pride is all the rage. Doesn't matter if the truth has been mislaid. Where I come from, battle flags express the view. Heritage they cry, but hate is coming through. Where I come from, color puts one in the back. For second class, where the cards have been so deviously stacked. Where I come from, it's a struggle to believe the law will grant us a reprieve. Where I come from is just a place of fantasy, a polished memory of a place that used to be. Where I come from, dark clouds obscure the view of the rainbow and its multicolored hues. Where I come from, got kicked out of the pews for being true to how God created you. Where I come from, gender rigidly defined means that some of us are kicked out and left far behind. Where I come from, repression is the code. Time turned back is now in vogue. Where I come from, beliefs come without any doubts. From a time when the truth was being shifted all about. Where I'm going, a whole love will prevail. Where I'm going, kindness will not need a veil. Where I'm going is not a hopeless dream.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Hey, Charles.
Hey.
So you're in Decatur right now, huh?
Yeah, Avondale Estates is just right on the eastern border of Decatur, Georgia,
Uh-huh.
which is part of the Metro Atlanta area.
Yeah. Yeah, I've lived there twice.
Oh.
I lived there as a child when I was about 4 or 5, and I lived there in the mid '80s to the late '80s.
Where'd you live?
There. Decatur when I first there.
Oh, cool.
And when I went back, I traveled a little bit around it. It had changed quite a bit. The lots of trees that had been there have turned into housing developments and such.
Yes,
And
quite unfortunate.
the metro layout there for roads and such seemed surreal and they're improvised, let's say that. But I like it. I have a mixed feeling. I think you sound like you do too. Kind of a mixed feeling of about the South and Atlanta, but not just Georgia. The South in general that I grew up in and such. And that is something that I think still there are many songs that are to be written about that, about what it is and what it should be and what resonates there. It's a very rich place. It really, I find it hard to reduce it, except from a distance. But close up, do you have those mixed feelings about it?
Well, yeah, of course. I love the South. I love where I come from. I love being in the South. It's my home.
Yeah.
But, there's a history here that is unfortunate and is still kind of there in the kind of the sub message that we receive these days from a lot of folks. And so, I feel like there's a lot of people who are in love with the South, who are in love with the mythic antebellum South.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm from the South, so I feel like I can write a song that criticizes what it has been, but also hopefully point it towards a direction that will make it much better. So.
Yeah, there's a place for an active development there, I think, and I'm glad to hear you taking that on. Actually, I'm very happy to hear that. Yeah, it's I mean certainly the blues came, much of it came from the South, some of it from Chicago and others. That's
there's
but,
a rich musical tradition. Yeah.
Certainly is. Yeah, that's what. How are you? How do you find yourself connecting with other people for musicians and the musical heritage there as while you're living there now?
It's kind of happenstance to be here. And so when you live in a place, you either stick with it and develop some relationships and stuff, or you move somewhere else and find someplace else. But this is where I am. This is what I have. I live in probably the most progressive area of the state of Georgia, and I find, in particular, I've developed relationships with people from the Frank Hamilton School of Music. Frank Hamilton was a mentor, I think, of Pete Seeger, and I think he took Pete Seeger's place in the Weavers, and he's still 90-something years old. He's still plays in the jams and everything. So I participate in their jams, and I take classes over there, and there's a lot of good people and a lot of fun people, and they all like to play music. So that's what I'm doing in my retirement. I'm seeking out folks who like music, who play music, and that I can enjoy music with.
Yeah. Well, Atlanta and that whole area, I think, is a wonderfully rich place to find traditions, and they're still there, and it's resonant, it's problematic, and it's trying to figure out who the hell it is, and that's I think a fascinating place to be. It's most important, I think, to live in a place that hasn't decided who it is yet, and I think the Georgia is a rich place for that, and I mean that in every positive way, especially for someone who's a songwriter and trying to give it sense.
Well, nothing about the world is static. There's constant movement and constant evolving. And I think your job as a songwriter is try to point people in the direction you think it needs to go. And, you've got a voice, and you deserve to have your voice heard, and you deserve to have people hear it. And that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah. Well, you've done it very nicely. And hope to hear you sometime this coming year, probably here at online.
Oh yeah, this is my 10th time.
Yeah.
On Open Mic America. I'm not the one who has the most, somebody else, but I'm up there towards the top. So I've had a great time with that. I love it. I love the fact that everything's recorded and everything's online. And it's just a super idea, and I think Dave was a genius to think of this thing and to develop it like he has, and along with his people who have made this thing just a wonderful, wonderful place to bring your music. Yeah. And I really appreciate that.
Thanks so much, and thanks to everyone here this evening and throughout the year, and may we continue to desperately obtain some glimmer of understanding of who we are next year. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
See you again.
All right. That is a great performance to close out the year 2023. Looking forward to 2024. So right now, I want to take the time to thank all of the performers. And so when I say your name, please just wave to your fans. Stuart Campbell, Steve Andersen, Tom Maynard, Hank Stone, Mike Simpson, Bet Paget, and Charles Absher. Remember to check out our website, openmicamerica.com, for links for the music of all the Open Mic America performers and find archives of all of the OMA shows. I want to thank Capo Dave for being in the background, keeping all of this stuff happen and for making it happen. We definitely want to thank Robert Edgar for his brilliant interviewing skills tonight. And Laura Bordowitz, who made us all look and sound better than we even are already. Thank you for that, for sure. And the audience, we definitely want to say thank you for tuning in every week over this last year and prior. We look forward to seeing you again. It's been wonderful to hang out with you. It's because you're out there that we all gather together and do this. And if you like the show, then spread the word. Don't keep it a secret. You can even download and print your own posters like the one back here on my wall and from our website, and you can hang them anywhere. You can see from Capo Davis wearing one of the Open Mic America t-shirts. You can find those there. You can check out your local open and virtual open mics. We've listed the local ones on our website where the performers play under local open mics, and that's on that tab on the website. We're always here on the first 3 Sundays of every month. So our next show, actually, this was the last one for this year, will be January 7th, Sunday, January 7th. and we'll be on the same time, same station. So stay tuned for that and for the full line of performers. Please check out your local open mics. I have to say it again. We've listed them there, and it's just really so wonderful to hang out with you. We appreciate you more than you actually know. So give us a chance to show you more live music next year. This has been a great year. Thank you again for hanging out with us. Everybody, you all have a fantastic season. We'll see you in 2024.
If you meet me at the corner of Russell and Albina, just about a block from Mississippi Avenue, I'll take you to a house where they hang carpets on the wall. And if we go there on a Sunday, there's a song I'll take you through.
And we are